Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Cody. Welcome back to the channel. Today we need to talk about what's going on in Saratoga Springs. I just pulled over. I was driving out here in the area and I had to pull over and talk about some of the things you need to know if you're considering making a move here, whether you live here already or you're looking at moving here. We need to talk about this. There's a lot of concern that I have with Saratoga Springs. I've had a lot of people who've watched these videos just like this make a move here to Saratoga, and it's still a great area, but there are some things that are starting to kind of pull it down. Unfortunately, some of the planning that went on here in the area is not the best, and I think this is actually going to be a huge problem into the future. The things I want to talk about here is just the lack of planning on the development of this particular area. I'm standing outside. You can see out behind me here, I've got Ulta, I've got Petco, I've got Sportsman Warehouse, I've got Ross. Walmart is just down the way. I've got Costco over here just this way, and everywhere in between there is just fast food place. There's a Tide Cleaner, there's a bank, there's every single restaurant you can think of here in this area. And the problem with that is it gets so much traffic into one particular area. We're gonna take back a trip back to my computer. We're gonna take a look at the map. I'm gonna talk about some different things you have to know about the different places to live, what type of benefits and disadvantages you're gonna have here in the area, and really just what you need to know if you're looking at moving here. You can also tell it's a bit windy outside. Apologies for the noise. That's why I'm going to get inside at my computer. But again, there is always a little bit of a breeze, which on a warmer day like this, it definitely feels nice. But there is always a little bit of wind out here in Saratoga Springs. So with that being said, let's jump into my computer and take a look at what we have for Saratoga Springs. All right, guys, we're back in the office now. We're out of the wind and we're finally in a spot where we can talk about what's happening here in Saratoga Springs. I've talked a lot, like I mentioned, about how Saratoga Springs is one of the best areas to live in right now, but there are some downsides that you need to know about. I think this is going to be something that continues to grow as a problem, and hopefully the government, the city, the state can get on top of this before it gets out of hand. It's already getting to a point where it's pretty bad compared to the surrounding area and what else we're used to here along the Wasatch Front. But with that said, we need to talk about some things that are going to be affecting people here in this area. So I want to start with the map. I want to actually show you guys where Saratoga Springs sits and how this all comes together. So you can see that Saratoga Springs is actually a very weird shape. I'm not sure how they came up with this shape or how they came up with this particular layout, but here's what we're looking at. So Saratoga Springs starts all the way up here in Harvest Hills. You've got 194, which is 2100 North, that comes across, comes down this way, and then you've got 73, which is Pioneer Crossing right here, and I think the name actually changes. Yeah, it's Pioneer Crossing that goes all the way across here in this area over to Eagle Mountain. So Eagle Mountain, I've made videos about that. We're not going to talk about that here today. I want to stick strictly with Saratoga Springs and what we're talking about here. So you can see there's this area up here, Harvest Hills. You've got a little section right here, and then it kind of cuts back and is extremely narrow right here. This is kind of just the general lay of the land. There is a whole bunch of land right here that can be developed around this LDS temple, but this is going to be considered Eagle Mountain. So there's a little section that comes over here, and then it goes down into the south end of Saratoga Springs. As I mentioned, you're always going to get a little bit of wind in this area because you're a little bit exposed. I mean, you've got a mountain side over here, you've got the lake over here. There is a little bit of exposure there, and you're always going to have a breeze, which on a nice, hot summer day is going to be something that's very nice. But on a colder, day where it's windy, or excuse me, it's cold, this is not going to be as pleasurable, right? So something to kind of keep in mind there. You do get a little bit more wind than in other areas. But the main thing I want to talk about here is how the city is split up and how the traffic runs throughout this area. So as I mentioned, you've kind of got this north end of Saratoga Springs, which is much easier to get to compared to the south end of Saratoga Springs. Now, if I actually click off of this right here, we're going to go like that. If you actually notice here, this is your main freeway, your interstate I-15 that comes across. It comes down to the southeast into Provo. As you come over here on 2100 North, this is going to be Redwood Road. This 68 right here, this is Redwood Road, which is your main north-south road. Now, it doesn't quite look like it on this map here, but there is a ton of traffic. That doesn't really help us. We want to stick over here on this view. There's a ton of traffic because Redwood Road actually goes all the way up, and it will actually take you all the way to the airport, basically. So, I mean, it actually goes past, even past that, but you can see this is Redwood Road right here, going all the way up into Salt Lake. So Redwood Road is an extremely long north-south road. It does continue all the way down into Saratoga Springs, even down all the way on the the west side of Utah Lake. So it continues down this way. However, the thing that you're going to notice here is that there are no other roads that go north and south here in this area. This is something that's going to be extremely detrimental to the area when it comes to traffic, especially if you're getting down to the south end of town. When you get into the rush hour time frame, The traffic in this area is just horrendous, right? It can take you probably 20 to 30 minutes to go from the north end of Saratoga Springs to the south end, which, you know, maybe just 5 years ago, you could make that drive in probably 5 or 10 minutes. So traffic that's in this area has increased substantially. You can see all of the building and development that's going on here on the south end of Saratoga Springs, and it's going to continue down this way. Eventually, they're going to have to build some commercial development down here, because the other bad thing about Saratoga Springs is right now there's pretty much nothing down here. You've got no shops, you've got nothing down here. They're continuing to build homes here. You've got Fox Hollow right here, which they're building at. Sold a number of homes in there. I've had a lot of clients move here, so like it's still a great place to live. I mean, some of the views that you can get from this area are just absolutely phenomenal. If I just drop my little guy right here, you can kind of see the views that you're going to get across the valley, right? So you can see these houses here. You get the lake view, you get city view, you get mountain views. This is not a great picture, but I mean, you get the sense of what this is, right? Why people want to live here. It's absolutely beautiful. There's some inversion here on this photo, and this is in December, so it doesn't look very pretty, but you know, mountains off here behind you. There's tons of parks. It is a great place to live overall, but there's a lot of concern with traffic. There's a lot of concern with the development, in my opinion, that's going to be something you have to consider if you're looking at this area. That being said, let's jump back over here. Sorry to spin you around. We're going to get back to north facing. As I mentioned with the commercial development, let's come back up here a little bit further north. So they have the new LDS temple right here. You can see all of this farmland that has yet to be developed. They are going to be continuing to develop this area, but when it comes to your central, you know, shopping area, every single shop is right here along Redwood Road. So this just forces, you've got so many things that force the cars into this particular area. If we come back here, you can see that this is your only main north and south road. Everything from Eagle Mountain, everybody from Eagle Mountain comes over this way, and this right here, this area right around this Costco is going to be just absolutely insane, right? They do have some roads that can handle some of the traffic, but if you're going during rush hour, it is no go, right? It is bad. You know, it's not going to be as bad as like California or New York or some of these other major cities, but for us here in Utah in a suburb, this is a, you know, frankly, just something that is a problem and needs to be fixed, hopefully sooner than later. They are going to be continuing, if we come over here, you can see this 85. They are going to be continuing this down this way over here on 800 West. This should be hopefully continuing sometime in the near future. You've got Pony Express Parkway, which takes you out west here, and then this kind of comes down all the way here. So they are going to have a road. If we actually jump over here, you can kind of see the first inklings of this road. This is going to be the road right here that comes down on the south end. So there is eventually going to be another access road. It kind of cuts through this field right now, comes up through Pony Express Parkway and comes up all the way here, and then is going to connect into, basically it's going to wrap up all the way around Harvest Hills and connect into 2100 North. So that is going to be fixed. Hopefully they get going on that right away, because it's going to need to happen sooner than later. With all of the commercial development, like I mentioned, this area right here is just absolutely crazy. This is where your grocery store is, your Costco, your Home Depot, the DI, tons of fast food and, you know, restaurants. Unfortunately, there's not really any like mom and pop restaurants. There's not really any higher end, nicer restaurants. It's kind of more just like your chains, your fast food, just the typical, you know, fast casual stuff that you're used to. So, the businesses in this area are absolutely thriving. This is actually even an old picture because everything here has been built out. This satellite picture is actually probably, you know, probably at least a year or two old, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's got to be, just based on the development that's happened here. But the development that's happening here in Saratoga Springs is what's really concerning. This is your only commercial corridor. Unfortunately, this is not a walkable area. It's not even a bikeable area. In fact, to get to this area, you definitely have to drive, and it's going to be, in my opinion, it's just going to be something you have to consider if you're looking at this area, because you've got all your shopping right here. Everybody from Eagle Mountain comes over this way. Everybody from the south end of Saratoga Springs comes this way. There's only one gas station, a Maverick gas station right here, and that is pretty much it. So if you need anything you can't find at a gas station, you're going to be forced to go into this area because there's nothing else around. Everybody here in the south part of Lehigh, same thing. They're going to be going over here. They might go over this way, but it doesn't look very likely. They're all going to be going here. Harvest Hills, they're going there. Everybody's going into one spot, and that kind of creates some concern for me on the long-term longevity and just pleasurability of this particular city. It's still a fantastic city. There's still a lot of things to consider. I still think it's an area that you should look at if you're making a move here, but it is something that you're going to have to consider. You know, do you want to deal with that traffic, or do you want an area that's a little bit more built out and maybe a little bit more prepared for the number of cars that are going to be on the roads there? So with that being said, guys, thanks so much for watching. As always, call, text, or email me anytime. If I can help you buy, sell, or invest in real estate, I want to be your trusted real estate resource of choice. Please reach out to me, call, text, or email. My information is here on the screen. With that said, guys, thank you for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.